Hi, everyone, and welcome back. I bet you're wondering what the hell you're looking at. I was driving my daughter to daycare the other day, and I saw like one of those lawn gnomes in somebody's like front of somebody's yard where they would normally be. And I don't know why. I'm just like, isn't gnome a creature type in Magic the Gathering? It goes to show the things I think about all day long. And I was like, let's look at some gnome magic cards in Magic the Gathering. And I know there was quite a few released in what is it? The Return to Ixalan, the gnome little artifact dudes. But there's other gnomes in Magic's history, and I remembered a few of them from like older sets, and I was like, I started looking around, and I'm like, let me compile a list and just throw these together and really put them out there and see if you know a thing or two about this. As they say, uh, home sweet gnome. Dance like nobody's gnome buddies watching. I'll let you gnome where the wild things are. You know how it is. Uh, what is it? I'm out of gnome puns. Oh wait, here's one. Don't be a party pooper. Be a garden gnomer. So let's just get right into our little list here. These aren't in any particular order. I just kind of threw these together. It's some of my favorites, and I'm just going to talk about them. So here it is. Leading off on the list, we've got ourselves uh, Ticking Gnomes. So artifact creature echo, 3 mana from Urza's Legacy, Saga, something Urza's Hammer, whatever it is. So you can sack it, deals 1 damage to target creature or player, 3 mana, 3/3. Pretty straightforward. Echo cost was a thing back in this block. These are very on point gnomes. They have the gnome look, tall, long hat, a little beard, and there's quite a few of them. So I think it's pretty cool. I've always enjoyed this card. Whenever I see it around, it always makes me chuckle. Uh, very clockworky, ticking. You can feel something about old school magic art. You could like feel and hear these gnomes ticking as if they walked by you. The art really brings that out in my opinion. You just don't see this kind of art anymore. Moving on, gnome one over. We got a classic gnome. I know a thing or two about old cards. So we got Quorum Trench Gnomes, a 4 mana from Legends. This is actually pretty powerful with a lot of interesting utility. Target planes produces 1 generic instead of planes until end of game. So I believe it's the Oracle is that you put a counter on it. Whenever that plane is tapped, it produces colorless and not white mana. This can be pretty powerful and annoying in a commander build. You can fuck with your opponents like shock lands, triomes, dual lands, anything that's a plane. You can put the counter on it, and the white mana won't produce white or just produce generic. If you get this out early enough, you can really screw with mono white players or people that really need white mana fixing. You can just instantly screw them right over. And so again, it's a gnome. It's got the gnome beard. It's very gnomey. Christy gnome might show up and shoot it, so we got to be careful. But I like this little contraption he's got. It looks like something out of Dr. Seuss. And again, old classic art. It was just different back then. See him? He's got the little hole. If you look at the bottom of the card, he's got the little like vacuum sucking up all the dirt, spitting out the back. So it's a very contraption-y, cartoony looking thing here. Very cool, very interesting. Moving on over, next on the list. I've always found this one enjoyable. Patchwork Gnomes. 3 mana, 2/1. Choose and discard a card, regenerate. This could actually have a lot of utility in like maybe a pauper or discard build, like around Madness. You get this dude back, discard your cards, cast them with Madness, or stuff you can dump into the yard. This guy can be a chump blocker, dump your stuff in the yard or reanimate. Uh, or just a dude that you just want to keep around as a consistent blocker and attacker. You don't really see regenerate around a lot anymore or ever. I think regenerate is kind of clunky and problematic by today's game standards. Let me know what you think of these gnomes so far. Let me know what you're thinking. Got Hannah from the Weatherlight. Just when I get them working, they always start fighting and tear each other apart for spare parts. So it's actually a pretty funny thought. You build little robot dudes that start fighting and rip each other apart. They are definitely patchwork. Again, that classic art. This gnome in the back has a hammer for an arm. One has a teapot for a head, and he's dragging the other gnome's head. He's dragging his gnome head behind him. One guy's on a unicycle. So they have the pointy gnome hat, little beards. Again, very on point. Moving on over, we got ourselves patchwork gnomes again. So I included this twice because this one I didn't know this existed. I remember when Odyssey came out. I don't ever remember seeing the reprint of Patchwork Gnomes. This is so cool. Again, it has the gnome aesthetic. You could tell they're little wind up guys, like they're gnomes we've seen. It connects to the other gnome lore we've seen in Magic up to this point. Uh, again, discard a card, regenerate, uncommon. So interesting to see back. I do want probably they probably had this in the Odyssey block as a way to discard stuff. That's when flashback was introduced. So discard stuff, flash it back. You get to keep your dude, flash your spell back later, so you kind of get the little rebate there. Moving on over, we got ourselves another patchwork Gnomes. They're kind of included all the arts. So 3 mana. This is from what, Modern Horizons 2. Discard a card, regenerate next time. So I like how this explains regenerate is a lot of the new folk here that don't really know Magic's history. They the next time this creature be destroyed, instead tap it, remove it from combat, deal all damage on it. So the explainer is nice because sometimes I forget what regenerate does and how it works. It is nice to see. They're very scary looking. I do like they got the pointy hats. I like the little dude in the back with the springing like bobblehead popping up off of him. So it's pretty fun. A lot happening here. Okay, this one's fun. I have never seen this before until I decided to make this video. You got Ersatz Gnomes. Target spell is colorless. Play this ability as an interrupt. Target permanent is colorless until end of turn. So this could be fun and interesting. Target spell is colorless. Like if somebody has protection from red, blue, green, the 5 colors, it becomes colorless. You can hit him with that spell. Target permanent is colorless until end of turn. Same thing if it's like protection from white, black, red, whatever. They can become colorless. You can block it. You can get through with it. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do here. Uh, 3 mana for a 1/1, not great, but again, a classic card coming to you from Mirage. You have the three little the 5 little dudes here, the little wizard in the back, animating them. So it's a lot of fun. Moving on over, we got ourselves Copper Gnome from another Urza set. Pay 4, sack, choose an artifact card in your hand, and put that artifact into play. That is insanely powerful. Because later on in the game's history, a ton of more powerful artifacts came out. So you can get yourselves like a Darksteel Colossus, what is it, Platinum Empyrean, all kinds of stuff. Who is it? Darksteel Colossus. You can get a Blightsteel for 4 mana, sack it, choose an artifact. Even some of the more just expensive non-creature artifacts, you can go ahead and slap them down into play. If you play something like, what is it, Microsynth Lattice, for everything that's not in play as an artifact, you can use that, plus this, cheat your dudes into play. I love the art on this card. I love the depth. You got a gnome in the front, the one behind it, and one way in the back. Got the pointy hat. It's very gnomey on point. They got little electronic looking beards. And I love just the detail of the art, the gears, the filaments, and they're fixing each other. The dude second to last in the back is holding up one of his own parts, looking at it and crying. Uh, Great art. You just don't see this kind of stuff anymore. I don't know if irony is the right word. This gear symbol, and for a card like this where there's gears involved, I think it's just perfect. So really well done. I do wonder if Jeff Laubenstein did that on purpose. So this one I included. I figured I include some of the more recent gnomes. I wasn't a fan of all of them. They don't really seem very gnomey to me in the Ixalan sets, but this one I always found cool. Is this little tiny guy. He's like, "Ah, fuck you." He's like tiny. Just took down this big orc, I guess. When it enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent control gets -2/0 till end of turn. So he's got flash. Something bigger's coming at you. You can play this dude, flash it out. Probably not going to beat it, but you can block it if it doesn't kill it. Again, 1 mana, a lot of utility. It's 1 mana. It's the first one on the list thus far that's 1 mana, but it's a colored mana to cast an artifact. So it shows the trajectory and difference of cards back then to cards now. You do see some of the gears and filaments. It has these similar aesthetic to prior gnomes. So, you know, I'd love to have, I wish this was a real thing that I can put on my front step and put this in my garden and just be like, ah, fuck you, and mess up any squirrels that go digging in my yard. So there's that. We got another one here. We got ourselves a Clockwork Servant. I do like this guy from Eldraine. It's a very Eldraine card. He's so cute. He's got a little bucket. He's got a scrub brush. I can't tell if that's his face that you see here with the little keys in it, or if that's the back of him. But he's so cute. Some are annoyed with the constant ticking as they clean the cobbles, but to the castle custodians, there's no sweeter sound. These guys are doing the hard work. He's adamant. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if at least 3 mana of the same color spent to cast it, draw a card. So if you use 3 of the same mana, again, draw 3 mana. Not so bad if you have a monocolored build, or be careful with your mana. Get yourself a little 2/3, draw a card, rebate, maybe find a way to animate this dude. Do something cool, you know what I mean? And moving on over, we got ourselves Battle Gnomes. Auto Gnomes going into battle. I always flip that around. I always thought this one was so cool. These little refreshing little drink dudes. You sack it, you gain 3 in life. And I love the flavor text. Reinforcements or refreshments. Coming to you from the first Mirrodin. Again, the gnome aesthetic. They got the pointy hats. They got little artifact, little beards going on. So I'll take that. One free, 3 mana. Really, I mean, Mirrodin was such a heavy artifact heavy set. So I feel like this card is serviceable. I'm sure it was good for, decent draft choice, maybe. Moving on over, we got Bottle Gnomes. Again, this is the original art. I just felt inclined to include this. It's got the Foglio art, so you can't pass that up. I love how they're just staring down at this little bug. Sack, gain 3 life. I am reminded of the fable of the silver egg. Its owner cracks it open to see what jewel it holds, only to discover a simple yellow yolk. Karn the Silver Golem. When Karn himself is like almost like a gnome. Karn is a giant gnome. He's a big robot, kind of these gnomes you've seen so far. And I love how they're just staring down at a little bug. I wonder if it's like what do you think it means here? What's the symbolism of this? Staring down at the insect, wondering, am I real? Am I expendable like this guy? Yes, you are. Well, I love the art in the back. It has the gears. Again, it demonstrates the point of being a little animated, filigree little dudes. Um, you tell their refreshments, pick them up, take a sip, gain some life, and you get on with your game. Keep you alive a little bit longer. And last but not least, we got ourselves a Clockwork Gnome. I think I even have a few of these. Coming to you from Homelands. Regenerate target artifact creature. Till I came to Floating Isle, I never had to oil the servants. Baki, Wizard Attendant. So a 2 mana, 4 mana, 2/2. I flipped that around. Uh, Really not a lot happened here. It's not a great card. Homelands is notorious for being just a bad set with really not a whole lot of utility. It's surprising the amount of cards in Homelands that are on the reserve list. So there's that. I mean, so there's some value there, I suppose. So pay 3 mana, regenerate target artifact creature. I don't think it's great. It's okay. It's fun, but and it hits it hits all the gnome points. Got the pointy hat, got the little wind up key, and really that's that. We just go back to the beginning, go through our list here. Which one's your favorite? Is there a gnome you wished I would have put on the list? What do you think of these? What's your favorite gnome? What do you think of the evolution of gnomes throughout Magic's history? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.